Hi there, Zamir for NerdTube. These are my thoughts and spoilers of House of Dragon even. Season 2, Episode 6. I have no idea what the title of this episode is. Now, lots of stuff happened during the course of this episode. Can't remember it all because there was so much. I'm going to try and pick up the things that, in my personal opinion, really stood out. First of all, we have Daemon Targaryen. He is going through utter mindfuck at Harrenhal, and we kind of know who is doing it, I guess, and that's probably Alice Rivers or Ali Rivers. But he's blaming everybody else. I mean, maybe he's been fucked so much that that the spells that have been putting on him is making him blame other people, and he's unaware of who the real culprit is when it's right in front of his face most of the time. And talking about somebody in front of his face, it's good to see King Viserys back, and we see him in a couple of different hallucinations of Daemon. First of all, Daemon is at the Iron Throne. King Viserys is there, looking great, by the way, not looking ridden and diseased like he was near the end of season 1. And obviously we see a moment where he's crying over the death of his wife, his first wife. I gather that's Rhaenyra's mother, and Daemon's there to console him as well. Not much for Daemon in this episode, but what we also get is Aemon Targaryen, and he's strategizing on what to do next. He seems to be somebody who really knows his shit, so much so that when Larys tries to throw his name in for being handed the king, Aemon can see right through him and tells Larys, you know what, mate? Why don't you find Otto Hightower, my grandfather? I'm sure he'll be ideal to be handed the king. And you know what? I can't wait for Rita funds to come back. Also, we get more of Aegon Targaryen, the king who was, fucked over by Aemon, and he's recovering, and Aemon gives him a little bit of grief by basically telling him to keep his mouth shut. But after Larys gets kind of burnt by Aegon, he turns to Aemon in a way and say, listen, people are going to underestimate you, and that's going to be their disadvantage. So even though you might not recover and be the same person you once was, people will always think the least of you, and that's when you take advantage of things. Larys is really kind of maybe showing who he was in season 1. He's kind of playing ball in season 2, but I think after being turned down by Aemon, I think the mischievous part of him is going to come back to front and center, and hopefully he'll start causing shit again. We'll see how that pans out. The people of King's Landing are starving, and the royal family there, the Greens, they haven't paid any attention to the hostilities of their people, and they don't really care. They're just thinking, what, they'll get through it, no problem. It's a bit like the world we were living in under the Tories. We'll get through it while we constantly keep ourselves well fed and look after our military, or in this case their dragons and stuff like that, but make sure that the rest of us suffer regardless, and hope that we just get by. But people are finding it difficult to get by, and Rhaenyra, she kind of realizes this. Word gets around to her, and she makes a very cool tactical strike. First of all, she sends some infiltrators into King's Landing just to start talking in bars and taverns about who the real queen is, the one who lost her place, so to speak, and that's Rhaenyra. But then after that, stage 2 of a strategy is to get food to these people. Not like, we're not talking like racks of lamb, which was mentioned earlier on, but we are just talking vegetables, carrots, cabbages, you name it, things people could eat and take advantage of. And it was a great strategy. I mean, because of this, later on when Alicent and her daughter go to pray, the people are revolting around them, because in that little area it's quite barren and there's not many people to take care of of the two queens, and yeah, they start feeling the revolt of the people who start attacking them, throwing shit at them. Luckily, there's lots of knights and guards to take care of them just about. I mean, at one point they were actually manhandled for a little while, but pressure, they're feeling it for sure. Now, the plan of the black side of this battle, they want to get more Targaryens, even if they are not of, like pure blood, but people who have descended from Targaryen stock, so to speak, maybe like several generations down the line, to get them to become dragon riders, because Rhaenyra's got dragons, she just hasn't got the riders. She asked this one particular knight called Sir Stefan, something or other, to do it. And look, I personally thought that when Sir Stefan had the opportunity to be a dragon rider, I thought it was going to backfire. If anything, if he became a dragon rider, I would have been more impressed with Game of Thrones, because this whole time I was thinking that, this dragon, sorry, I called it Game of Thrones, House of Dragon, was going to turn around at one particular point and kill Sir Stefan, and that's what he did. He trolled Sir Stefan when Sir Stefan was had the opportunity to ride this dragon called Sea Smoke. Sea Smoke, put himself in a position where he would be ridden, and next thing you know, you think, fuck this, and then he sets fire to Sir Stefan, as well as one of the dragon handlers, so to speak. It was absolutely hilarious. Saw it coming, by the way, which is why it would have been better, in my opinion, if Sir Stefan was able to ride a dragon. Now, this obviously puts Rhaenyra's plans into disarray. But later on, one of Corlys' bastard sons, the younger one, he gets chased by Sea Smoke, and we then find out off screen that he's riding that dragon. So Rhaenyra goes out to, I think, search for Sea Smoke and this dragon rider, see who he is. But before that happens, she starts making out with the White Worm. I mean, her and the White Worm confides in her and tells her, yes, I believe in you. You believed in me, and I believe in you. And that moment felt made Rhaenyra very, she felt very sympathetic and appreciative of what White Worm had said, and they hug and embrace. But you could see that was turning into something a little bit different, and then they start making out until one of the knights mentions about Sea Smoke having a rider, and breaks in, basically, scissor blocks them. Who knows? Is that the term? I have no idea. Regardless, these are the sort of things I can remember of this particular episode. I'm sure there was a lot more. Obviously, people fighting over food and stuff like that was pretty great. You got that one Targaryen dude who is poor. I mean, he looks Targaryen as fuck, come to think of it, with his white hair and all long and stuff like that. I'm sure his moments will come into fray later on, maybe next season, if not this. We are coming to the end of this season now. I think there's only 2 more episodes left. Fantastic show once again. Great moments, great dialogue between the characters. Like I said, there are things I have missed out in my review, but it's an hour and 20 minutes this episode. There's quite a lot to go through, and there's moments that stand out a little bit more than others. But regardless, the pacing of this show is fantastic. The dialogue, great. Whether there be action scenes or not, it's so enthralling. I just fucking love it. And when they use all these terminologies that only a Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon person would truly understand, it doesn't go over your head. You get what they're talking about. It's fantastic. This is just a great show. I love it. I give this episode an 8 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope more to come. Let me know what you think in YouTube land of this particular episode. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube. We are the greatest social media channel you've never heard of. And if you've already forgotten the name, it's NerdTube. Remember it.